Hello, everybody. You haven't heard from me for a while, and that has its reasons. In the last few months, it was a little bit overwhelming to be an empath. I could feel everybody's thoughts, feelings, emotions, and it was very disruptive to keep centered for myself because I was just a little bit overwhelmed by all these intensities of emotions coming from everybody. Now, as it's getting a little bit calmer, I'm recording this on November the 8th, Sunday, in beautiful Sedona at 11:11. I would like you to understand a little bit about this chaos with the election. It had its purpose. We are going through a tremendous shift. And the shift has to do something with heart openings. Can you imagine in this chaos, heart opening is possible? Yes, it is. Because everybody, while they're voting for their candidate and listening to their candidate and, were fascinated by their agendas, they were opening inadvertently their heart to how my candidate is this one, how my candidate is that way, how my candidate has it figured out. And there was a heart opening happening. They were shining the heart open for their candidate. Yes, it is in the matrix. But you see, in everything, there are different agendas. And spirit has its agenda too. You see, I asked them, with all the chaos in the world, the first time when Trump won and people were so shocked and whatnot, I asked them, so what do you have to say to this? And they said, well, Spirit put Trump into the office to be a disruptor so that people wake up, so that they understand their opinion matters. And all of a sudden, everybody was interested in politics. All of a sudden, from, oh, my vote don't count, to, oh, my opinion doesn't matter, to, who, I'm called to participate. And see what we had this time. So much participation. So that was part of wakening up. Yes, you're here to matter. You're here to have an opinion. You're here to let your light shine brightly. And let's look back short after Trump as disruptor had been put into place by Spirit. And all of a sudden there was things coming to the open. I'm not saying it has something to do with Trump. I'm saying it has something to do with Spirit and the matter of awakening. All of a sudden, we had the Me Too movement. All of a sudden, it was not okay anymore to be quiet when a predator took advantage of you. All of a sudden, people found the courage to speak up. This happened to me. Yeah, me too. Yes, me too. And all of a sudden it was not okay anymore to be in the dark room and suffering silently. All of a sudden there was an opening. And then come another opening and another opening. And I asked Spirit, especially with the recent violence, with all the riots and all this stuff, and people putting guns at each other's head, and people were like very, very, very aggressive, which is for me hard to deal with because I'm coming from another level there. I have a hard time with aggression. I have a hard time with this level of anger. But Spirit told me it has its reasons. So first, in the beginning, a lot of my clients have heard me say throughout this year, 2020 is the first year of a 10-year cycle of full moon-like energy, where everybody has to look at their undigested fears and emotions. Like on a full moon, our emotions are higher. Everything comes into the open. And here they said, well, this awakening process takes 10 years. And then after that is a rebuild, where we are building our society and our planet onto a higher basis. But before that can happen, a lot of things have to collapse. And all the old anger, all the old frustration, all the old woundedness have to come into the surface to be able to release, because you cannot let anything go or release anything if it hasn't come to acknowledgement. And so, like with the Me Too movement, now we have the Black Lives Matter movement, and then this movement, and then that movement. There will be way many more movements going to come into the open before everything is said and done in the next 10 years. So we are in for a strong ride. And I can encourage everybody to keep on doing what they're doing when they were opening up the hearts for their candidate. Now go one tiny step further and open your hearts for your next fellow man. And if you cannot love them, bless them. The agenda of the dark forces is right now to create absolute chaos, no matter who creates the chaos. It's about setting us against each other. Let us fight against each other. Collide with each other. But instead, we can use this to say, well, I opened my heart, I paid attention, I love this and I love that, and going out of the matrix into the oneness. You see, my school is called the School of Wholeness Navigation. The school leading and navigating from duality to wholeness and oneness, to the third eye center and beyond. And this is such a time to shift and change. You see, you might have noticed that everything comes into the open. Hate, greed, deceit, fraud, stealing from one each other, entitlement, all the belief systems which are on a low frequency level come into the open now to be released. My guiding ones, I asked them, after this cycle of this 10 years, looking at our hidden fears and emotions and undigested emotions, to digest them, let them go. I asked them, what's the outcome? And they said, to be self-sufficient, self-reliant, self-recreated, and the most important, self-responsible. So what does it mean to be self-responsible? That means you have a choice how you react or how you act. That's your choice, that's your power, no matter who won. But in this particular moment, you're called for to not just go into the darkness of polarity, ping pong play. Oh, you're this, you're this. You're good, you're bad. I'm good, you're bad. To go out of that polarity and go to a higher order. And that higher order starts with the heart. Don't have hard feelings, have heart feelings from the heart. And as I said earlier, if you can't love them, at least bless them. Bless them with God's light. Bless them with the light of the source. Remind yourself, they are no better or worse than I am. One thing is for sure, this whole scenario, that people showed up now to vote and to have their voices heard, should be an encouragement for all of us to have hope that there is a next level coming now, a shift, which is beyond politics. It's beyond duality. It's for us to see, where do we go into this as on this planet as humans? Do we stay in the matrix and do the blame-shame game? Or do we go beyond? Do we see what's happening? Do we see that there might have been fraud or not? You see, this is the world of polarity. Nobody's perfect in this world. Everybody's doing and believing the best they have to work with. And yes, we have all opinions. Even I wrote it. I'm part of this matrix in this particular body. But then I'm also eternal soul up there in the oneness. And that's what we need to remind ourselves in all this chaos right now. If you cannot love them, if you cannot open your heart for the next fellow being, at least bless them. Bless them for having their opinion. Bless them for having their viewpoint. Because whether you're Republican or Democrat, whether you're red or blue or red or mixed or whatnot or liberal, you have an opinion. An opinion is only a viewpoint in polarity. And yes, we are operating in the matrix for an experience. And it's up to us whether we create this a positive experience or a negative experience. You see, when you can keep your heart open to your next fellow being and bless them for their opinion and be tolerant and say, okay, they believe this in their truth and those believe their opinion as their truth. But beyond the polarity truth, there's a truth in oneness. And that's for us to discover. And I find it delightful that so many people showed up to vote, no matter who won. It's delightful that people are waking up now. It's delightful that we are going to a change, a shift. But the shift always should be initialized from here, from the heart, and from the third eye center and beyond. I have experienced here in Sedona, which is, you could say, a spiritual center, that still so many people were so angry and so frustrated and called to even rioting in our small, tiny community. And I thought, wow, shouldn't we know better? But I was reminded by Spirit that everybody comes from where they're, you have to not judge, but see where they're at. It's okay where they're at. They're where they're at for a reason. So let's not fight each other, but nevertheless love each other. Because only when we shine the light into this chaos can the next order, can the next vibration be achieved. And that's what we all want, right? We want to have it in more beauty, more riches for everybody, more joy, more light. So I can only recommend for everybody to bless this earth and everybody on it. Take a moment, just a moment, and take a moment with me right now to hold your hands and envision Mother Earth with all the people, all the animals, all the plant life, and everything in between your hands. Bless them and love them from a higher perspective, so that the world can go to the next level indeed. Just take a moment of each day to bless and love Mother Earth and all its inhabitants. And let your light shine brightly. You see, that's what I did in all the meditations in the last few days. When I woke up in the morning and when I went to bed. And I felt the light flow through. So join me and think of it every morning. Just a short, brief moment to bless everybody on this earth. Everybody. The most bitter opponents. The most people you think they're not enlightened. Or the people you think they're stupid. Or people you think they don't know what they're talking about. Just bless them anyway. Let your light from your heart shine on the planet. And with that, I leave you. And you can expect more tiny tidbits every day again of how to keep your heart open and bless Mother Earth and your fellow being. Because that's what we are. We are not humans only. We are multidimensional beings. And that said, Many blessings to all.